Hey, welcome. Happy New Year. This is Denius, and you want to learn some crypto? Well, I do. I'm kicking it in this new year. Crypto that I bought last year has done really well. But one of the things I thought was that we could actually use a course explaining what it means when you have your money in the exchange where you bought it versus having your money in a program called a wallet that runs on your computer. And so I decided that this is the most important thing to get a real good handle on before you go any deeper into cryptocurrency is where your bitcoins live, how to move them to your computer from an exchange and why to do that, and then also how to back them up. And so that's what we're going to go through. And at first, this was motivated by simply the fact that, like, I had wanted to send $100 of Bitcoin, and I did, and so that's 0.0069 at that exchange rate of a Bitcoin. So approximately 7 millibitcoins. Millibitcoins you can think of as $20 bills, though at this time they're a little bit deflated. They're like $15 bills. So 7 of them is about a $105, right? So 7 millibitcoins. But the transaction fee was really high on this. Transaction fee for 7 millibitcoins, the transaction fee was 1 millibitcoin. So that's like $15. And that's too much. That's too much just to move some digital money around. When you trade on an exchange, you're kind of stuck paying what the exchange wants for you to move money around. And there's a lot of ways that you can offer lower fees to the network. So we're going to talk about fees as one of the motivations for moving your money out of an exchange. But perhaps the even better motivation is security. But I started this exploration trying to lower the fees. But in order to really complete that move, which as you can see gave me 50 millibitcoins in an account or an address that is completely managed by my wallet. In the effort of trying to do that, I had to learn a bunch of things about the way Bitcoin works underneath and how a wallet works. So let's go on that little ride. All right. So we're going to talk about the central cryptographical, mathematical, securifiable concept of public and private keys. And we're going to make an analogy that they're just like lock boxes. Okay. Now, they'll also talk about addresses. And there's a neat way where you can think of any place on earth as having a street address, and that is managed by the municipality names the streets. So some governmental agency is in charge of addresses on one level, but on another level, addresses are just places on earth with latitude and longitude coordinates. And so it's very helpful to think of your Bitcoin as residing in an address. And in fact, that is what the terminology is. So we're going to talk about addresses a little bit. And then, every latitude and longitude we assume to be on Earth, but Mars has a latitude and longitude system, and so does the moon. So when you talk about an address, you kind of have to ask, which planet are you talking about? And likewise, in cryptocurrency, when you talk about the address of where some crypto resides, you have to ask which blockchain is that address on. So I'll just mention that a little bit briefly because it relates to addresses. And then I'll talk about wallets. So these programs that manage the keys that you have for all of your metaphorical lockboxes where your crypto lies. So that's what we're going to get through. I think this will be maybe 15 minutes. So again, the goal was moving money from an exchange account like on Coinbase to a local wallet account. And so the first thing to understand is that this is the metaphor of a where a Bitcoin lives, okay? So you can think of a Bitcoin living in a lockbox. And the lockbox is identified by a number on the side, and that is the public key or the address. How you can send me stuff is the public key, the number stamped on the side of the box. The means to access and spend the stuff in the box is the private key. The private key is going to be mine. And if I'm on Coinbase, all the private keys that allow me to move money are managed by Coinbase. Okay, so let me repeat that again because the implications are pretty profound. When you leave money in the exchange account from where you bought it, you paid some US dollars, got some Bitcoin, and you left the money there, then you never took possession of your private key. Your private key is at the exchange. Now, it's secure. It's as secure as you trust that exchange to be, and it's secured by your password at that exchange. But you don't have possession of it, and in fact, you can't really see it. So my goal was to create or to find or something, a lockbox that is not owned by Coinbase, that I own this lockbox, I own this address, and I own the private key for it. And I'm going to transfer money out of Coinbase into my private lockbox and just make sure that that process works before I make any larger decisions about where to move the rest of the money. Bitcoin addresses are case sensitive, upper and lower matter. And so because they're so tough to type, they should be QR code scanned. That's using like a mobile device camera or a laptop camera to scan, or use copy and paste to transfer those addresses. You just really don't want to mistype them. And so what a wallet program can do for you is utilize your keys so that you don't have to type them to spend the Bitcoin. So that's like opening the lockbox, taking what's in it out. And then unlike physical lockboxes where you'll put stuff in, take it out, put stuff in, take it out, every time you actually use a Bitcoin or crypto address, that address is marked as spent. And you need to create what's called a change address, a new address to receive the change from that transaction. Won't going to get into that in too much detail, but long and short of it is that you'll need to deal with a lot of keys. So aside from the paper option, there's a lot of reasons to use an electronic wallet if it's properly backed up. But suffice it to say that Bitcoin is very, very, very unguessable, unlike, say, a social security number, where it's very easy to guess a different social security number. In fact, people have died and their social security numbers have been reused. So I would say that like the odds, if you change a digit in a social security number, the odds that you actually get another social security number that is valid, as I'd say it's about 1 in 1. That's what I mean by this density column. But the odds of guessing a valid Bitcoin address is, let's just say, considerably higher than with credit cards. And when you talk about the combination of an address and the key to open it, 10 to the 153 zeros after the number 1 is a number that is just really mind-boggling. It's like if there were a billion Earths, all those grains of sand and more. So it's easy to write down on paper, but it's really, really hard to guess. So as you create new addresses, you can get paid and you can receive change, and you won't have to do this manually usually because wallets will manage it. So let's take a look at a wallet program, and also take a look at this link that I've provided on ways to protect your privacy online. This wallet program I'm going to show you is called Electrum, and it shows you a history where I've been playing with transactions for a little while, but I haven't used it a ton. I've mostly used Coinbase out of laziness, but I finally got over the hump this morning and transferred 50 millibitcoins. It says millibitcoins is the balance of all of the transaction history that I have has left me with a 50.25 millibitcoin balance. So I'm not going to show you how I created this wallet or how I back it up, but you can go through the Electrum program and just go through the setup, choose a standard wallet, and you'll end up with no history, but you'll end up with a list of addresses. Now, most of these have a zero balance and zero transactions against them. All of them are addresses that you control and you can get the private key for by right-clicking on this and doing private key. Now, the wallet will prompt you to provide your password, but then when you do, it'll give you the private key for that. But in order to send money to one of these addresses, you don't even need the private key. You just need the address. And then you can go to your accounts and you can do a send from Coinbase. You can paste that address in and let's say send max. We're not actually going to send 4,000 US dollars at the moment. But if we did, look how percentage-wise low our fee would be for moving that amount of money. That's really not so bad. So what I did was put the address of one of the addresses controlled by this wallet into a transfer initiated from Coinbase, and then click send and wait for it to settle. And then what I saw here is initially it said unconfirmed. So this transaction was not like these ones that are marked with green check marks. They had the word unconfirmed. All right, and now that we've got some money in an actual wallet that we control, let's see how to do a transaction where we actually send some money out of this wallet and into, well, let's use this paper wallet here. This is a wallet I printed with from a site that I'll give you the link to so that you can print up your own paper wallet that you can put like in a safety deposit box to keep your Bitcoin safe. So let's say that I'm going to be giving this as a gift. And so I'm going to go to this site Bitref and check the public address. That is the part that's listed on this side of the paper wallet, 1JV. And then 1JV on bitref.com says that there's currently nothing in that. So that's a good place to be at. So currently the state of my account is that I have 16V is one of the addresses I control. It has 50.25 millibitcoins in it. Let's send 3 millibitcoins. Let's see what the fee is going to be to send 3 millibitcoins. So we can take this address and say pay to you, and the amount we'll say is 3 millibitcoins, and we're going to take a look at what it says the fee will be. Maybe we have to preview for that, or can we adjust this? Okay, so when we adjust this, it says within 5 blocks. This basically corresponds to like blocks as a unit of time. So if I want something approved within 10 blocks, that's on the average going to take twice as long as something approved within 5 blocks. And let's look at the difference in fees. The fees are measured in millibitcoins per kilobyte. It's hard to explain that, but you can look at 4.3 fee or 5.0 fee, or if it's not, I had half the speed if I go like that. So I'm actually going to double the speed by paying 5.0. That's more like it. Sorry. Now let's see, within fewer than that. So if I want to go within 2 blocks, 5.25 will incentivize that. So I think I'll take that and then do a preview of this transaction. So it's going to take money from one of my accounts, and it's going to be putting it to this paper wallet that has an address starting with 1JV, and then a new address will be created in my wallet to hold the remainder. And then the difference is the fee between 49.063 and 50.25. The fee here is going to be 1.1 millibitcoin. So remember, a millibitcoin is around $15 today. I use 20 as a rule of thumb if if you're not following the market too closely. So that's like $17 to do this. So I can just say like, no, that fee is too high. I don't want to pay it, and I can cancel that. But I don't like that fee, so I'm actually gonna back it down a little bit and say, let's see, if you approve it within 10 blocks, I'm fine with that. Okay, so that got my fee under 1 millibitcoin. And I'll say, okay, sure, that's cool. Let's just close that. We've previewed it. We think it's good. And then we're going to click send. And there's my mining fee declared. And there it is. Now, let's see what our wallet says about the history of our account. It says that there is an unconfirmed transfer of 3.982 away, and we can look at that in a second. And it tells me that my balance is 50.25 still, but there's an unconfirmed amount. So in this view, it actually shows what my balance will be when that settles. Now, I can go back to Bitref and pretend I'm the person checking the balance of this paper wallet. And so I do a refresh here, and it says that there is 0.003 or 3 millibitcoins at this address. And that's pretty cool. It also says that if you look at this little box here, it says that no confirmations have occurred, right? That it's unconfirmed. And if we just leave these pages open, we made a pretty low fee. So it's not like any of the nodes are going to be jumping to actually confirm it and move it along. See, it's kind of a pay-for-play system. So I lowered the fee. So this is a pending transaction. As soon as a miner decides it's worth their time and money to take this transaction versus all the other transactions that are out there, then this may or may not go through. It can remain in a stuck state for a long time, and but at least you have control over what you're paying, and you're not paying the Coinbase hosting fee. And if we take a look at this, we can see money flowing from an origin to a destination and a fee account. So it's it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat. So that's what it takes to put money into a paper wallet from a Bitcoin wallet. I'm using Electrum on the Mac, but whichever wallet, it's going to work about the same way. And now you have a path of money where you can adjust the fees, try to get them as low as possible, and you have ultimate control over these funds, because the keys to unlock all of these addresses live on your computer. And we'll talk in another video about good practices for backing them up. Thanks a lot.